Bill, there was a report that somebody went over to McCarthy Hall to give a player free throw advice. I wondered if you thought, what you thought of that, and if it's serious or what, or not serious. Or
if it's Rick Barry, I'm all for it. Or Mark Price. I did get that report. It was a little strange because it was unsolicited and certainly, but it was probably all good intentions. I mean, I was told that the security over there called. They just thought it strange that an older gentleman would be kind of stalking and hanging out in the dormitory area. But I don't think anything definitely was ill-intended, but probably just a little unusual.
Do you have when something like that happens, do you have a first reaction? Just like, are you kidding me, or was it?
No, I didn't have a reaction. Because apparently he told everybody he's coming to see me next. So as long as it's not Freddy Krueger, I'm okay with it.
Did you get a chance to hear what his advice was for free throw shooting?
No. I didn't see him. It was, I'm sure it's good intentions. What he's probably saying is no different than what many others have told me that we should do. So everybody's got their own opinions on those sorts of things.
Going off the Rick Barry thing, Will Chamberlain switched to go underhand free throw. He shot the best percentage of his entire career.
Yeah, what year was that?
It was the year he had the 100-point game.
Yeah. Why did he go back?
I think it's a pride thing.
Yeah, sure it is.
So do you think that, is Udoka even considering that?
No. I talked to Jankovic. Of course, Jankovic is feast or famine. There's nothing remotely in between with Tim. It's he's the best or he's the worst. It's not anything in between. I asked him about it, and he said, "Well, you know what? I think underhanded, may be good. I could say if I had a guy who was struggling, I may recommend that to him." I said, "Would you do it?" He said, "Bill, if I was shooting 1% from the line, there's no way in hell I would ever do it. But maybe somebody else might want to." I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's probably the thing about it is with Udoka, if that's who you're talking about, which I assume it is shooting underhand does not change his shot. In order for him to have an advance and have a chance to have a career, he's got to be able to shoot the ball, and shooting it underhanded, and I don't know how that helps his prolong his playing career at all.
If it helped him become better from the line, though, like it did when Rick Barry taught George Johnson.
Yeah.
Another guy with huge hands.
I visited with a guy last night, and there's a lot of people that shot him underhanded back in the day. Why did they switch? Because they shoot them better the way they shoot them today than they do underhanded. There may be a few individuals that may shoot the ball better, or Rick Barry or Canyon Barry. They did it last year, but I think the belief is that why didn't Shaq ever switch?
Right.
Maybe I haven't asked him personally. I was asking, maybe, but certainly I can certainly understand that. That would be the case. So the thing about it is with unless somebody's totally bought in, and to switch, make that dramatic or that drastic a switch in a span of so do you want him to switch now with 24 hours to practice it, with big games coming up, and then see what happens? I don't know how you can get confidence from that. I think if you're going to make drastic switches like that, I think it needs to be done over a course of time. You can't practice them underhanded, and then in the games, well, I'm not quite comfortable, so we'll shoot them back the way I always shot them. I mean, it's a commitment to make a serious change like that, and I don't see that occurring at this juncture of the season.
Would you classify like maybe trying to bank them in or shoot them one-handed, is that drastic and that kind of change that falls in the underhand category, or is that maybe a step below?
What was the other one besides bank in?
Just one-handed.
You know,
because he doesn't shoot with two hands very often. Unless he's dunking it.
You know, there's a lot of things that you could probably try to do. I don't know that I would say banking in would be the answer, because it's, you know, then he'll start banking. You know, he could start banking it long then too. You know, the problem is he, you know, every one of his free throws hits the back of the reel, and he's not that far. You know, it's not missing left or right as much as it is short or long. And when you evaluate shooting, that's the first thing you look at. If he's missing right and left, he's probably not a real good shooter. If he's missing short and long, then maybe that can be worked with. And you know, I believe we can work with it, and I think he'll attack it in the right frame of mind.
How much of it is mechanics? How much of it is in his head? Just
I think it's
opens?
both. I think it's both. You know, obviously mechanically, it's not the most sound. You know, if you know, you brought up a good point, Matt. Mechanically, everyone's been taught, you know, that when you throw a dart, you keep your elbow under your hand. You know, everybody's been taught that. So and Dokes isn't, you know, like that when he shoots. So, but even with that, you could ask just about any great shooter or any coach that coaches shooting, what's the most important thing about a shot? They would say the release and follow through. You know, you've seen great shooters shoot it like this, and you've seen some poor shooters that shot it like this. I mean, you want it all, but I would say follow through would probably be as important as anything. You know, that you finish in the same spot every time, but even with that being said, you know, it becomes a mental thing whenever you feel the pressure. I mean, you can shoot 1,000 free throws a day in practice. It's not the same as, you know, being fouled intentionally with under 3 left on the road. So in a pretty big game. So pressures are always different. Whatever you do, it needs to be able to withstand pressures. And so I think the mental aspect of it is far more important than the actual physical. You've seen a lot of great baseball hitters that have an ugly swing. You've seen a lot of professional quarterbacks that don't throw it the way you're supposed to. I mean, you know, there's still guys that can get by with it. Billy Kilmer threw one of the ugliest balls, in that right, Tom? That was back in your day, for the Redskins. I mean, every one of them wobbled, but he still got it done. So I mean, there's you know, it doesn't always have to look right, but the follow through is very important.
Joe Cap, too.
Who?
Joe Cap also.
Yeah. Vikings, yeah.
So A&M leads the SEC in rebounding.
Yeah.
What challenge? How do you get your guys ready?
Well, they're big, you know. They're really big with Tyler Davis as a load, and of course Robert Williams, one of the best prospects in the country, and I don't want to mispronounce any names, but number 10, the first guy off the bench. You know, he's long. He can shoot too. But Hogue is a huge guard. I mean, they provide some real problems from a physical standpoint. And so, you know, that they played LSU the other day on the road, and LSU won the game. But at one time, I think A&M was plus 20 on the glass. So that's going to be a big challenge and a huge key to the game.
I think you've been out rebounded 9 games now. You've won probably 7 of those. What do you need to do when you're getting out rebounded to win the game?
Well, you know, you could have more turnovers than opponents and still win. You can shoot a worse percentage and still win. I think OU ended up out rebounding us 5 down the stretch. We controlled it. We led to. You know, at OU, they keep the running tabs on rebounds on the scoreboard. So I was able to look, and every time I looked at the scoreboard, I was able to see, hey, we're plus 3 or plus 4. But down the very end of the game, we weren't as good a rebounding team. I really think so much of it is effort. I think discipline. And I could be wrong. It may have been Baylor. They got 12 offensive rebounds, but it was 16 points. And then there's been other teams we play, they get 16 offensive rebounds and it'd be 5 points. And so much of rebounding is obviously you want to steal possessions because extra possessions give you more of an opportunity to score points. And if you play the percentages, obviously you score more points. But defensive rebounds obviously a huge key, but what they do with those defensive rebounds is even a bigger key.
Do you like that running total they have, so if you ever need to point it out to your players or anything, you ever do that?
Well, we get stat sheets, you know, during the game that we can tell them. But in that particular situation, I thought it was, you know, I like looking up there and seeing it. Yeah.
How much of rebounding is positioning, of being in the right spot so that you can?
A lot of it is. A lot of it is positioning. A lot of it is, you know, good offensive rebounders can, you know, especially if they shoot the ball, they can read where it's going. You know, you can tell if you're going to miss it inside left, so it automatically bounces right. You know, all that stuff. If you're a good offensive rebounder and you shoot the ball, you can tell that. But defensive rebounding, so much of it is positioning. A lot of it's physicality. A lot of it is having a good base. You know, when you're not very big and you're blocking out somebody that has a stronger base than you, all it takes is one nudge to displace you, and all of a sudden your rebounding only misses, and they get. And I mean, your rebounding only makes, and they get the opportunity to rebound misses because you're under the basket. So there's a lot of things to it. But early contact is probably as important as anything. But the biggest thing, and I've heard Coach Wooden say this, you know, you want teams to block out, but it's a lot more important to have guys that go after the ball than it is to block out. And we don't attack the ball near as well as what we have in years past, but we're also not near as big also.
Bill, can you talk about the guard play? Malik's really come on, I think, 3 20-plus games in 5 games, and then Legero is still struggling.
Yeah, Legero has, you know, he hasn't really done much, quite candidly, on either end in the last, you know, 5 or 6 games in the last 3 weeks or so since the Texas game, and you know, we need him being active, and we visited quite a bit about it. It's not anything that he's playing poorly. He's just not putting his handprint on what's going on, and we need him to put his handprint on it. He's arguably our best athlete, certainly our best athlete that plays a lot, and he's not playing to his athletic ability or confidence level that he will play at. You know, if we can just see some good things happening. But on the flip side, Malik's just the opposite. Malik's confident. He's playing with a more aggressive mindset and attitude, and certainly he's doing more than just shoot perimeter jump shots.
When you say you visited with him, what's his frame of mind? I mean, what are the visits like?
Well, you know, I'm not going to tell you what we visited about specifically, but I can tell you just trying to address to let him know that, you know, we need him to do more, and he wants to do more. I mean, it's not like he's fighting that at all. But needing him to do more, and certainly becoming more aggressive, and maybe why haven't you been as aggressive, and those sorts of things.
Do you have a theory? I mean, is it Big 12 play? Is obviously
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think everybody has ebbs and flows, and everybody has ups and downs, and I think you know, he's going through a situation where in the past he's probably never had to be counted on consistently. And he was so good early in the season and so good against Texas that maybe we started thinking that he could do that consistently, which I personally think he can and have the capability to do that. But still yet, I just think he defers too much. We need him to do certain things to give us the best chance, and I think sometimes it's not effort. It's not it's a mindset. It's a mindset that, you know, playing safe or whatever, and we got to get him out of that.
Hey, Bill, Devontae's played 40 minutes, 3 games in a row. How do you guys weigh, you know, knowing how valuable he is to have out there, but yet trying to not wear him down for the end of games and maybe have a little bit of juice left?
Well, at OU, for instance, our decision was we were subbing him whenever Trey came out. And Trey never came out. Okay. You know, but you bring up a good point. He needs to get a rest, a little bit of a rest. Each half, but it's hard to take him out. It is hard to take him out, nor does he want to come out. But you know, we'll try not to, he didn't practice yesterday, he's not practicing today. So, and we'll go hard tomorrow and Saturday and practice light Sunday, play Monday, and then he'll be off next Tuesday and Wednesday. So maybe a way that we can get him a couple of days a week. This week we got him 3 days off. I don't remember ever doing that with anybody. So we know he's got to play a lot. I think what we're trying to do is just limit his exposure during practice a little bit more.
So when you say he doesn't practice, is that he just kind of stands around when you guys go over stuff, or how does that work?
No, I mean like totally off.
Okay.
Like yesterday, the whole team was off.
Okay.
Today, certain guys will practice and certain guys won't,
okay,
because we'll work on 4-on-4, dummy offense or whatever, because those guys, Fee and him particularly, they need to, we feel we're better off having them fresh on game nights than we are wearing them down by practicing an hour and a half, each day.
Is Malik getting closer to being maybe that second ball handler that you need if
I don't know about that, but he's certainly playing much better. Sure. Yeah, he's certainly playing much better. The thing about it is we had one guy that I felt like that was really capable of keeping Trey in front of him, and Devontae did a great job of that for the most part. We broke down some there at the end.
With Malik, has it taken him a while to adapt to Big 12 play, or is his really good plays able to come just because of confidence?
I think because of confidence. He played in the SEC, 2 years ago, and we played a pretty good schedule. So I think a lot of it is confidence. You could make a case because coincidentally started out slow in league play, picking it up, but I think that there's been a positive trend. Since we started league play, and probably a negative trend, back just before Christmas, and that didn't have anything to do with league. So I think a lot of it's just confidence.
These last couple of games, we haven't seen much of Sam Cunliffe. Does he still have a part to play for this season?
I think he could. Sam is a terrific athlete. Sam is he got a lot to learn from a basketball standpoint, and when he's in the game, what his role is. I like Sam a lot. I like his athletic ability. I like his talent, but he hasn't performed very well in the limited opportunities he's had that have been big time opportunities. He'll play better, and a lot of people may think we'll give him an opportunity to play better. Well, yeah, that is true. You could also say, well, why was Silvio in when he turned the ball over 3 times in a minute? Well, he needs an opportunity too. I mean, so you can make there's a devil's advocate to everything that you could possibly say. But I would say that Sam has had minimal opportunities, but he probably hasn't made the most of those or his practice opportunities as much as what we like to see.
You've explained what some of the steps you're taking to preserve the energy, the freshness of your guys. How do you get your guys to fight through mental fatigue at this point of the season?
Well, I think we've been pretty good at that. I think everybody goes through ups and downs. There's been times where, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago we beat Kentucky here in a great game, and I'm thinking this is going to be what really spearheads us, and then we go flat right after that. We beat Kentucky, and then they take off right after that. I mean, I don't know that there's an exact science to it, but I don't think that, I'm pretty cautious of fatigue setting in, but I'm not cautious of mental fatigue setting in yet, even though I know that we're going to go through those grinds. But probably trying to do, to answer your question, probably trying to do as much as we can to take their mind off ball, trying to let them be a normal student, and do the things that normal students do, but at the same time trying to keep them off their feet as much as possible.
How much does this A&M game factor in the fatigue or the rest part? I mean, it's not a must-have because it's not a conference game. Does it factor at all that way?
No, we'll play the game to win.
Yeah.
Just like everybody in this challenge is going to play the game to win. We'll play it just like we would if we were playing Oklahoma or K-State, and they will do the same thing. The thing about it is, at the end of the day, you don't want, regardless of what happens in this particular game, to impact what happens after that. whether it be win a big game, you kind of get careless or complacent, or if you lose it, now does that affect the next one? I mean, you don't do that, because this game is important, but it's not as important as a league race. And I'm sure there's 19 other coaches that are playing in the challenge that would tell you the exact same thing.
Because it's an SEC game and you have K-State on Monday, and I know you had this short turnaround with West Virginia. Does the preparation change this weekend for you guys?
Yeah, I did. We did practice yesterday, or we're not practicing today. So we got the guys that haven't played much are going to come in and shoot and run dry offense. But no, we're keeping the guys that are playing. Udoka, of course, we got some stuff we're going to work on, and LeGerald needs to shoot some. But that's it. You know, Malik and Svi and Devontae, they're not going to do anything today. So that's 2 days off, in large part because we can't take Sunday off. So yeah, that would be a way that we could adjust. Yeah.
So it'll still be like on Sunday? It's kind of like.
Oh yeah. You have 30-40 minute practice on Sunday. Yeah.
You like the break, Bill, from the Big 12 play?
No.
You wish this thing was earlier in the year?
Yeah. I wish it was earlier. I don't think this is. I think it's great for our league, because I think it's one day where it's all exposure, two good leagues going against each other, all that stuff. I think it's great for our league. Probably good for recruiting. At least I don't know how much that really matters, but I think because most teams get plenty of exposure anyway. But I think that's a positive. I also think it gives everybody a chance to improve their NCAA chances, because to put another quality win in the bag, or improve your seed line, because obviously a big win could certainly impact that. But other than that, I don't think it carries near as much weight as what a conference game would.
So you take a look at the conference standings, almost I guess halfway through now. I kind of feel like maybe there's just a couple teams that can win it, but
no, I don't feel that. I think
this year it feels very different.
Yeah. I think there's 5 teams with the. And I could be wrong, because is who's 4-4? Is anybody 4-4? Texas is 4-4, so they're still right there. I mean that's 1 week, between Texas and us. That's just 1 week, and it's been shown by everybody that you could lose a couple of games in a week or win a couple of games in a week. So the teams that probably have more than 4, would have to make a serious run. I mean, they're going to have to run the table or get close to it. But there's still 6 teams, and it could be, depending if somebody else just gets really, really hot, there's 6 teams that you could say, oh man, they're right there with a chance. We could have put ourselves in a really good position, obviously, Monday, if we could have closed that game out. We would have put ourselves in a really good position. We're still in, if you tell me before this starts that we'd have a 1-game lead, going into game 9, I would say, well, you know what? We played a hard schedule. We're okay. But the reality of it is, it's not much of a cushion. It's no cushion at all.